All right, good evening. It is Tuesday, the 28th of November. Thank you so much for making time for the program tonight here on the Bottomline KE on Lookuptv. Now, tonight we do have so much lined up for you, especially on the issue to do with the housing levy, which was in court today. I'll be giving you the details of that in this particular bulletin. Also having a conversation, trying to make sense of that. What's next after that court ruling, all right? Sign language interpreter tonight is Josephine Ouko. But first, these are the top stories tonight.
These amendments are extraneous to a money bill and are therefore unconstitutional. On the bottom line tonight, the High Court rules housing levy as unconstitutional, stays ruling until January 10th. Also tonight, El Nino floods have killed 120 people as nearly 90,000 households have been displaced.
KBC is a strategic investment that should not be sold under any circumstances.
And Azimio leader Raila Odinga faults President William Ruto for plans to privatize critical state corporations.
All right, now remember you can be part of the program by engaging us on our socials at Amoy Brian, that is on X at Lookuptv. The hashtag you're using tonight is the Bottomline KE. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube, where you can send your feedback and we'll be looking at it as we continue with the program tonight. Now do tell us where you are watching us from and what you think about the stories that we are running today, especially on the issue to do with the housing levy that was in court today. Now, the High Court has declared the housing levy contained in the Finance Act of 2023 unconstitutional, null and void. Now, Kenyans will, however, continue paying the controversial housing levy as the same court has issued conservatory orders are sought by the government to stay the ruling until January 10th next year. Now, the government, through its lawyers, has already signaled the intention to appeal the ruling. Justice David Majanja, Lawrence Mugambi, and Lady Justice Christine Meoli did not suspend the entire Finance Act 2023 and found several sections of the Act constitutional. Henry Tende now reports.
Find that the introduction of the housing levy amendment to Section 84 lacks a comprehensive legal framework in violation of Article 10, 201, 2010 of the Constitution. That levy against persons in formal employment to the exclusion of other non-formal income earners without justification is discriminatory and irrational and arbitrary and in violation of Section Articles 27, 201, B1 of the Constitution. And that an order is granted prohibiting the respondents from collecting, charging or otherwise the charge known as the Affordable Housing Act on the basis of the Section 84.
This ruling by a three-judge bench comprising of Judge David Majanja, Lawrence Mugambi and Lady Justice Christine Meoli was a big blow to the government, albeit momentarily, and a relief for a majority of Kenyans vehemently opposed to the housing levy. What followed the judgment was a back-and-forth arguments from petitioners and defense lawyers representing the government. The government team of lawyers seeking 45 days conservatory orders to stay the housing levy.
Cessation of collection of the levy. Is it from today or is it from the time the act was enacted? Tomorrow there will be an avalanche of Kenyans going to KRA to say give back my money. The following day you are not given the money because there is a procedure that has to be followed. They will be in court with the contempt applications. So this is real danger that is facing everyone in the government who must comply with this particular order.
Application for refund, KRA has 30 days to make a decision. So if you're given 45 days, that means that you'll have sufficient time to not only respond to the application, but also to ensure we have moved the court sufficiently to deal with that.
At around 3 p.m. when the court resumed from a short recess it had taken to evaluate defense lawyers' request, it was time for the government to have its moment. The three judges granted the conservatory order request, staying the housing levy until the appeal option is pursued.
An order of stay and is hereby issued, staying the effect of this judgment issued today, 28 November 2023, pending the filing of a formal application for conservatory stay and conservatory orders in the Court of Appeal. appeal, and these orders of stay shall remain in force until 10th of January 2024.
This decision sending the defense team into frenzy, led by lawyer George Murugara. Already they have signaled their decision to appeal the ruling.
Or we have gotten on almost about the 45 days we were asking for, up to and about the 10th of January 2024. This in essence means from now henceforth we have time to consider our position. Number one, by tomorrow we should be filing a notice of appeal and an application for stay of execution or a conservatory order to the Court of Appeal. And for this, I'm grateful to this court for granting us that time. Number two, we will also be filing the substantive appeal in the Court of Appeal. And I hope and pray that once we go to the Court of Appeal, the orders we have just gotten here will be extended until the appeal is heard and determined.
The judgment was, however, not well received by petitioners led by Law Society of Kenya President Eric Theuri.
We have, however, found the reasoning by the court to grant a stay of its decision until 10th of January 2024 a little bit strange. It is strange in the sense that it appears intended to allow the government to collect the housing levy. It appears intended to allow the government to have time to finalize the processes that are ongoing in Parliament with a view to regularize the housing, affordable housing fund.
It was a temporary reprieve for Kenyans, but now it is evidently clear they will continue paying for the housing levy as the courts have given the government until 10th of January to appeal the case. Henry Tende, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, thank you, Tende, for that report. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has condemned the government over its intention to privatize corporations, highlighting Kenya Pipeline as one of the corporations. And as Gail Aluda now reports, Raila says the move is ill-advised.
Addressing supporters during a homecoming ceremony for Kisii Governor Simba Arati at Nyamache Stadium in Bobasi constituency, the opposition leader Raila Odinga singled out Kenya Pipeline Corporation as one of the critical state corporations that the Kenya Kwanza regime intends to sell. According to Raila, if the Kenya Pipeline Corporation was sold out, the prices of petroleum products will shoot up to unprecedented levels, subsequently hurting Kenyans even more.
Sasa wametangaza wanataka kuuza mashirika ya serikali. Moja yao ni ile shirika ya kusafirisha mafuta, Kenya Pipeline Corporation, nataka kuuza, na National Oil Corporation. Kenya Pipeline Corporation ikienda kwa mkono ya watu binafsi, bei mafuta taenda hata mara 100.
Raila defended the corporation, saying it is a strategic investment that should not be sold to private hands. Raila telling the Kenya Kwanza regime to deliver services to the people, including the lowering of costs of living, and to stop blaming retired President Uhuru Kenyatta for its failure.
Hapo. KPC is a strategic investment that should not be sold under any circumstances. Lakini hao wanataka kuuza sasa. Mimi nitaongea juu ya hiyo hivi karibuni.
Raila alluded to the levying of taxes by the government, saying no amount of increasing taxes will improve the Kenya's economy 1 year down the line.
Lakini kwa sasa leo mimi nataka niambie nyinyi ati mjitayarishe. Naona mambo hapa itakuwa vile tulikuwa nataka.
His co-principal and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka lauded the court's judgment on declaring House Levy unconstitutional, adding that the Azimio coalition will not relent until VAT had been scaled down from 16% to 8% by the government.
Nchi gani inaweza wakati wa shida kama sasa kupandisha ushuru? Wengine wanaleta economic stimulus, sio kufanyia wananchi madharau na dhuluma ya kuongeza ushuru. Tukajaribu kueleza, hawakusikia. Leo hii nashukuru mahakama kuu, the next court in line, our appeal court judges wamekubaliana na msimamo wa azimio la Umoja wa Kenya, wakatupilia mbali ushuru wa inaitwa in-housing tax. Hatunatoa kama ujui umetolewa tukiwa hapa. Simba ulifanya vizuri, tukasikia uamuzi wa mahakama kuu, not the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, 3 judges. Wakasema hii koti hii ushuru wa nyumba ni unconstitutional. Kwa hivyo hapo ameanguka flat.
Aludagel for Lookuptv.
Now, thank you, Aludegail, for that report. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has blamed poor infrastructural planning for the devastating El Nino crisis in the country. Now, speaking at the 17th Annual Institute of Planners Convention in Kwale, the DP said the government has disbursed 7 billion shillings as part of the intervention for the floods crisis.
The unfavorable effects being caused by El Nino rains have been imputed to poor planning and substandard urban development. Rigathi has claimed that contractors are responsible for the cluttered drainage systems that lead to leaking joints and bursting of sewerage lines.
This condition takes place when El Nino is causing havoc across the country. Buildings have been marooned and road networks destroyed. Lives and livelihoods have been lost, and others are at risk. This adds to the challenges of collapsing buildings across the country. Between the year 2009 and 2019, at least 87 buildings tumbled down, leaving 200 people dead and over 1,000 injured. The country lost over 2.4 billion Kenya shillings in such losses. Last year alone, 13 houses collapsed in Nairobi metropolitan region. While such unfortunate instances have been linked to rogue contractors, substandard materials, limited or no geotechnical studies, greed among other factors, the ingredient of proper planning for a safe, secure, and sustainable built environment cannot be gainsaid.
Rigathi has said the cities will be the most affected due to improper infrastructure, and the county governments have a duty to respond swiftly to these challenges, urging Kenyans to avoid flood hotspot areas.
Out of the 87 deaths that have occurred due to El Nino, 37 of them is by drowning, not floods getting you to your house, by you going to where the floods are, and daring nature. Kenyans are crossing rivers when they can see the waters are menacing.
Additionally, the Deputy President also revealed that the national government shall disburse more money to the county governments for mitigating the adverse effects of the El Nino rains.
Again, we have put aside 7 billion Kenya shillings from the Civil Contingency Fund to intervene in terms of supply of food, interventions in health, provision of mosquito nets, and other drugs to deal with contaminated waters. We are also supporting the Kenya Defence Forces with resources to continue providing air support by getting food and taking to areas that are not accessible. We are also giving resources to the Ministry of Roads and Transport to restore roads that have been cut off to enable supplies reach their destinations. We are enabling them to come up with temporary bridges where they have been cut off. We are also helping the Ministry of Water to deal with the dams that are likely to have a spillover that is dangerous. And we want to ask Kenyans near dams to move to safer grounds.
Ruga Ival, Lookuptv.
All right, now at least 120 people have died due to the El Nino rains in the country, with 89,000 households displaced. Now, the National Disaster Operations Center has revealed these staggering figures. Now, speaking at Nyayo House, where he led the first press briefing by the Committee to the Public, Interior PS Raymond Omolo said the national government is speeding up efforts to avert more loss of lives.
Have also been activated to coordinate interventions and also address the disaster situation in the respective areas. Saving lives and reducing the impact of the heavy rains through early warning and disaster monitoring remains the government's top priority, and having every sector and stakeholder working in sync is the surest way of mitigating and responding to this emergency. As at today, 4 counties have been identified as the worst hit, and this includes Tana River, Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera counties. 9 counties, including Isiolo, Kwale, Homa Bay, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Lamu, Taita Taveta, Meru, and Kisumu are also on high alert. From October to date, 120 people have unfortunately died, and their families have been duly informed. 9 bodies were retrieved from Mombasa, while 4 were retrieved from Lake Victoria. A total of 89,000 households have been displaced and are being hosted in a record 112 camps established in the affected counties. Through our search and rescue efforts, over 2,000 people have been assisted and are undergoing medical checkups at the camps that have been set up. The government has similarly distributed food, water, and non-food items to a number of counties, including Busia, Marsabit, Isiolo, Mandera, Garissa, Tana River, Lamu, Kitui, Kwale, and Mombasa. On matters road infrastructure, the Kotulo-Elwak Road has been reopened, and a total of 36 trucks that were stuck for the last 3 weeks have now started moving to and from Wajir and Mandera counties. Maralal Kisima Road in Samburu, as well as Marsabit, Maikoma, Kalacha Road are currently passing.
All right, time to take a short break here on the Bottomline KE. Don't go too far. We'll be back in a few with more stories, and also that particular conversation about what just happened today as far as the housing levy is concerned. All right, continue engaging us on our socials at Lookuptv across social media platforms. We'll be reading your feedback as we continue with the program tonight.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Maliki?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza, kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection. Added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park, fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
All right, welcome to once again here on the Bottomline KE. Thank you so much for staying with us as we get to the conversation tonight. But before we do that, let me just take you through some of the facts and figures and what exactly is expected that will be forming the basis of our conversation, trying to set context on this particular conversation that is happening in the country right now. And we do believe, so where exactly did we start from, or what exactly is happening here in the country? Right now we're talking about the housing levy. Well, it is a 3% housing tax as we speak at the moment, 1.5% for the employer and 1.5% from the employee that is supposed to be deducted so that it makes the 3% housing tax according to the Finance Act 2023. Now, 7.9 billion shillings has already been collected, was collected rather in August, and 3.93 billion collected in September. This is the figures that the government did give a month ago as far as the housing tax is concerned. And also, what more should we look at? Well, the projected, we are talking about what the government was projecting as far as the housing tax is concerned. Well, in the year 2023, I believe that is the next slide. In the financial year 2023-2024, the projection was 6.3 billion Kenya shillings, and in the financial year 2024-2025, the projection was 70.0 billion shillings. This is the amount that the government had projected it is going to collect from the housing levy in this financial years. We are also talking about 2025 to 2026 financial year. The government had projected to collect 78 billion Kenya shillings. So, apart from that, what else was this act actually intended to do? Well, according to President William Ruto, the target was to create 2 million affordable housings, affordable units by 2030. Those are houses that the president says we are supposed to have constructed by the time we get to 2030 through this particular housing levy and in his ambitious plan of the affordable housing units. All right, now it is expected to generate 57 billion yearly. That is what was actually put when they were putting up this particular plan, and also to create 250,000 jobs annually. So far, the president did say in the last 8 months, 118,000 jobs have already been created from the construction of affordable units. Now, listen, today is when this particular case was actually in court because it had been filed by different sectors that were against this particular move and the entire Finance Act. They wanted it to be quashed, but not entirely. So the court did pronounce itself on this particular matter and gave conservatory orders as far as this ruling is concerned. They did say, in their ruling, they did say this particular act is actually discriminatory and irrational and arbitrary, and it's in violation of the Constitution. They argued that it was actually bringing about discrimination in terms of classes. And also another issue is that stay orders were granted because the government did ask for those stay orders so that it be able to comply with this particular ruling from the court. Now, the orders were granted until January 10th, 2024. That is what will be forming the basis of our conversation tonight here on the program once we get in touch with Professor Alfred Omenya, who is, we are trying to get in touch with him so that we actually get this conversation. But before we do that, let's continue with the news tonight. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has recovered land worth 27 billion across the country and an additional 300 billion shillings worth of assets. Now, the commission has noted that it is committed to getting back stolen property.
As part of an ongoing exercise by the government to recover land, more than 27 billion shillings worth of land has been recovered by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC. Speaking to governors in Uasin Gishu, EACC noted that Uasin Gishu, Kitale and Kiambu are the leading counties with most land grabbing cases.
Land grabbing in this country is a problem, and we have, as a commission, if you go through our websites, you can see we are in the process of trying to recover quite a bit of resources, including land and cash, and places which have got high potential naturally will also attract high grabbing.
In Uasin Gishu County, among parcels recovered are a hospital, fire station, and administration police land, which are still under investigation.
To date, nationally, we have covered over 27 billion worth of land, land and even cash, but most of it is in land. Nationally, we have also stopped assets, in terms of loss of assets. There are those efforts which we make proactively before the corruption takes place. Over 300 billion worth of assets which we have been able to stop.
Uasin Gishu Governor Jonathan B. said that land theft had adversely affected development across the county, calling on to EACC to ensure all stolen land is recovered and returned to the county government.
Not only in Uasin Gishu, but I think the appetite is so much in this place that you find a parcel of land having 2 or 3 titles, and you wonder which one is really genuine. And we ask ourselves that what EACC is doing now to recover assets is something very commendable, and to me, I support.
Ibi Kadenyi, Lookuptv.
Now, flower farm estates in Naivasha have been identified as major hotspots for gender-based violence cases in the region. Now, the cases have been blamed on harsh economic times, mental illness and substance abuse. This comes during the 16th day of activism against GBV.
Nowadays, when you go to a church,
The 16 days gender-based violence summit opened at Naivasha shedded light on the plight of the Naivasha flower estate workers, where major cases of GBV have been reported, with a recent research indicating that at least 4 workers in the informal settlement suffering sexual harassment and domestic violence weekly. This attributed to the harsh economic times, mental illness and substance abuse.
Issues of gender-based violence has been so rampant. We have been receiving at most in every week we have been receiving 3 or 4 cases, mostly domestic violence and also defilement. Defilement cases has been on rise, and also domestic violence.
These remarks were reiterated by Richard Mudini from FIDA, who said that they are on the run to eliminate GBV, adding that the most vulnerable in the community were the most adversely affected.
Prevention and elimination of GBV is our role. We cannot eliminate GBV minus collaborating with the community at the grassroots level, as they are the vulnerable groups. We chose Kyoto because Kyoto and at large Naivasha prevails as the most prevalent area that has all forms of GBV, running all the way from domestic violence, talking of child molestation, talking of defilement, talking of early and teenage pregnancies that are very rampant in this area. Our objective for today and for the 16 days, we want to create and sensitize this community. We want to create the awareness.
Persons living with disability have been reported to be the most affected by GBV, adding that many, due to their nature of disability, could not defend themselves, while Maela MCA Jen Gituko, on her side, noted that poverty and unemployment had played a role in the high cases of defilement and child abuse in her ward, adding that 100 of men were silently suffering, noting that it's time for them to combine efforts and come out to speak to the masses to garner support.
People with disabilities are normally a forgotten lot, and even with their rights, hawajui rights zao. If you take a deaf person going to seek justice for sexual-based violence in our country, if you go to the gender desk, you'll never find a sign language interpreter. So what does that tell you? That that person in themselves hawatapata haki kwa sababu hatuelewani.
We are activating our people to create a platform to come out and say yes, this is happening, and we are also giving them direction as to what they are supposed to do when these things happen. We don't want to bring a case scenario whereby you go reporting this particular issue and then you are taunted in whichever way that it has occurred. Remember, gender violence is for even men. We have men who have also been suffering quietly.
Wigan Lemeguran, Lookuptv.
Now, teachers under Nat and Kuppet have threatened to go on strike in January if government fails to address the issue of insecurity in Samburu County. Now, this coming after the murder of a primary school teacher during a bandit attack. This and more in our county news wrap.
To rise in Baragoi, Samburu County, Nat and Kuppet have intensified calls to the government to intervene and curb banditry attacks in the area. This is after a primary school teacher was shot dead in Baragoi.
Kwa njia ya security, usalama imekuwa kizungumkuti hapa. Tumeona wenzetu wakiwawa. Hata jana mwalimu wa shule ya msingi alipigwa risasi.
Kuppet Secretary William Lenguyap now says that members will go on strike in January 2024 if the government fails to take action. Elsewhere, Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Salasia has been ordered by Kakamega Small Claims Court to repay a debt of 500,000 shillings after Robert Luta, a businessman, presented evidence in form of bank receipts from KCB Mumias branch, proving to the court that he transferred the money to Salasia's bank account on 13th December 2022. In other news, the International Labour Organization has raised concern over a sharp increase in cases of child labour and sexual exploitation in Kajiado, Kwale, Mombasa and Bungoma counties.
But also trying to influence the county government budgets to see how counties can put money into interventions that help communities, especially vulnerable households.
ILO Program Manager Grace Banya stated that the incidents were attributed to poverty, drought and traditional cultural norms. And Kirinyaga County government and stakeholders have commenced the process of land tenure regularization for approximately a total of 91.2 hectares. County Governor Anne Waiguru says the regularization will provide security of tenure for hundreds of residents who from immemorial have not been able to carry out any meaningful development on the land due to lack of land ownership documents.
We are also undertaking the titling of land in 11 colonial villages in collaborative effort under the Kenya Informal Settlements Improvement Program. This project will provide security of tenure.
Ivy Wangulu, Lookuptv.
Now, residents of South Sakwa in Siaya County have taken to the streets to demonstrate over rising insecurity in the area. Now, the protesters now say that there has been a surge of house-breaking incidents and livestock theft. They are now calling on the government to address the issue.
Has spread among South Sakwa residents in Siaya due to the deteriorating security situation. Despite multiple reports to local administration officers, no tangible action has been taken.
Watoto wetu, wenzetu, vijana wenzetu wako na nguvu, wanaweza fanya kazi, wapate mapato zao. Lakini hapa shida inakuja ya kwamba wanaingia kwa nyumba, wanaiba vitu zetu. Kuku, siwezi fuga kuku. Mbuzi zinaenda. Aya, kuna shida nyingine, kuna hii mambo ya pombe. Hii local brewery. Kuna pombe yenye inapikwa hapa kwa Daudi. Na Kogao. Wanaenda, sijui sasa hiyo ndio inaleta shida yenye inafanya wanaenda wanaiba kuku zetu, mahindi. Mtu anabeba mahindi mpaka kwa nyumba.
Karina Handa, another resident, spoke of the pervasive fear gripping the community as the thugs now extend their activities to mugging people as early as 7 p.m.
Sijui kama ni shida ya njaa ama ni shida gani. Wanatembea usiku, wengine wanakata watu na panga usiku, wengine hawana heshima, wanakunywa pombe, baada ya kutumia pombe na madawa za kulevya, wanakuja kuvunja vitu kwa nyumba za watu, wanaiba.
Daniel Okoth, whose house was allegedly torched by the same group, expressed disappointment in the chiefs and assistant chiefs, claiming they haven't received assistance in times of distress.
Ananyona na watu wa Kawere village. Gotabiro sub location pamoja na Central Sacco kwa sababu tunapakana. Mimi naomba Raymond Omolo achukue hii hatua. Hii ni kitu ambayo ni ya maana kabisa, na hatutaki kuchukua sheria mkono yetu. Kama si hivyo, tutachukua sheria mkono yetu, tutawaoa hao waisi yote, kwa sababu wanasumbua watu hapo. Yes. Wamama hawezi kufuga kuku, wamama hawezi kufuga ng'ombe, wamama mpaka sufuria wanatoa hata jiko, wanaiba kuku, wanachinja, wanakula.
In an attempt to draw attention to their plight, the residents disrupted transport along Migwena-Wagusu Road. They urgently called on security agencies in the region to intervene and address the alarming situation. Frustrated and feeling neglected, the residents warned that if no action is taken promptly, they may resort to taking the law into their own hands. Bridget Agola, Lookuptv.
All right, we do want to take a short break here on the Bottomline KE. We'll be back in a few with more stories, especially sports.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park, fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Maliki?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza, kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Nestled in the quiet and serene neighborhood of Makutano, just 2.8 kilometers from the Tarmac Road lies Alpha Meadows. This is a controlled gated community where you can build your city, home, or purchase for investment purposes. If you are looking for a place to call home, full of peace and quiet, with magnificent views, then Alpha Meadows is that place. To book a plot, call 0723-979797 or visit us on 4th Avenue Towers along 4th Ngong Avenue off Bishop Road. Alpha Meadows is a product of Fusion Estates. Fusion Estates, your land ownership partner.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi, na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv every Sunday. Unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
Story.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Right, welcome back to the program tonight. Now, the government has said it is committed to increasing domestic funding for emergency plans for HIV and AIDS relief. President William RUTO, while speaking in Nairobi during the 20th anniversary of the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, said that funding has been a major setback in the fight against the disease. According to President William RUTO, the government has increased its financial injection into the HIV commodity pipeline by 1 billion shillings over the past 2 years to enable a smooth supply of emergency aid and relief.
The conversation that is going to ensue shortly in Kenya is how we are going to fund our health requirements sustainably. And the biggest thank you we can give to those who have supported us, like PEPFAR, is to figure out, as Kenyans, how we can deal with the challenge of financing, how those who are able can do more to support those who are not able.
He lauded the government's partnership with the United States of America through the U.S. PEPFAR, saying that it has helped save lives since its inception in 2004.
There have been fewer instances where such partnerships have translated into direct, personal, visible transformation in the lives and well-being of people in terms of ending suffering, reducing the number of deaths, and prolonging the lives of millions of people who might otherwise have faced high risk of agonizing early death. Kenya's partnership with the United States of America through the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, is one of these very rare partnerships.
PEPFAR aid, which committed more than $110 billion to the fight against HIV and AIDS in more than 50 countries globally, has saved over 25 million lives and many more HIV infection prevented in the country.
Today we celebrate 20 years of PEPFAR's impact in Kenya and of course to an extent also globally. Today we celebrate 20 years of hope. The stories that you've seen just now in the gallery walk is just 20 out of the millions of lives that have already been saved by PEPFAR.
Together, Kenya and the United States have altered the course of the HIV/AIDS epidemic in Kenya. The partnership has saved millions of lives, strengthened health systems and economic prosperity, and perhaps most importantly, created hope. With over 1 million Kenyans on daily life-saving HIV treatment, and 94% of them have successfully suppressed the virus, I can confidently say Kenya is on the cusp of epidemic control.
The president noted that with 1.4 million people living with HIV, over 48,000 children as well as 55,000 breastfeeding mothers are on HIV treatment, assuring that the government is committed to ending AIDS in children by 2027. All right, now some sad news tonight. Now, 6 people on Tuesday morning killed in a banditry attack in Samach area in West Pokot County. 16 have been hospitalized with injuries in various hospitals. The first 3 were suspected bandits from Turkana County who had raided the village but were killed by locals. Now, the other 2 were caught up in the fire exchange between the bandits and the multi-agency team undertaking the security operation in the region. One person who was injured died at Kapenguria County Referral Hospital.
Wondering because we've been all time talking about the insecurity along the borders. The killings which has been taking place, this is not the first time. They have been taking place for a very long time. And to our surprise is what we received yesterday. Our KDF officers, the Kenyan Defense Force officers, were the ones who destroyed the lives of those people along the border. So we are wondering as leaders, where are we heading to? Because now those are the security apparatus we are expecting to protect the people. We are not, because now as we speak, we lost 3 lives through the bombing, and several others are injured. And there is no one who is, even the reaction from the national government, we've not had anybody talking about what has happened yesterday, including the CS interior.
And we are mourning. We are seriously mourning as leaders. And we are almost giving up as Pokots. The way the deputy governor has said, we are getting to our elastic limit. Soon we will chart our way forward as Pokots. It's better we say that we are not in this government. This government is almost becoming the worst since independence. We've lost so many lives, and we are profiling those cases. If this government will not listen to us, we are telling you, we will take this matter to the International Criminal Court, because we Pokots, we've been massacred for so long. We are profiling these cases. All those names of persons who were injured yesterday are here. Those who were killed since this government came into place, we have them. All the names. All of them have died because
All right, let's get sporty tonight. Kenya under-18 national team Junior Stars advanced into the semi-finals in the ongoing Sekafa under-18 at Kisumu and Kakamega counties. Now Kenya advanced into the final match of the group stage after beating Rwanda 1-0 at Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu. Now Aldrin Kibet scored the only goal of the game to ensure Stars maintain their unbeaten record and top spot in Group A. Kenya will now face Somalia on Friday in the semi-finals. Now, Harambee Starlets are set to face Botswana in the Africa Women's Cup of National Tournament at Nyayo Stadium. Now, the Beldino Demba side defeated Indomitable Lioness of Cameroon 4-3 goals in penalties at the same venue. Now, Botswana's Mars, on the other hand, secured their spot in the second round by beating Gabon 7-1 goal on aggregate.
Say the girls are optimistic and we are up to it. Si timu rahisi na si timu ngumu.
Now, the final group stage of UEFA Champions League continues tonight with 6 matches scheduled to play. Now, Feyenoord takes on Spanish side Atletico Madrid. Reigning champions Man City welcome RB Leipzig at Etihad Stadium. Other matches to play are as follows. All right, we've come to the end of the program tonight. This is the bottom line. Thank you so much for your time and watching tonight. We were supposed to have a conversation, but due to technical issues, we're not having that tonight. All right, I do thank you for your time once again. My name is Brian Amoaya. Sign language interpreter tonight has been Josephine Ouko. Let's do this again next time. Do have yourselves a lovely week and night. Good night.